You have not heard that sound in a long time, have you? And I'm sure some of my new subscribers don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Maybe some of you oldies will, maybe you won't. Maybe I'm just talking to myself here. Well, I know I'm talking to myself right now. Actually, no, I'm just going to be continuing to talk to myself and people will be hearing a recording of me talking to myself. Okay. What's going on, guys? It's Panda here. I am back. I am motherfucking back with a vengeance like Bruce Willis in Die Hard. Okay. I went to the shop downtown, you know, the new Life shop. I got a new lease on Life. See what I did there? Yeah, went to the Life shop, got a new lease. Okay, alright, anyway. Anyway, to make up for my bullshittery, the last couple of days, or last week I'd say, I will be doing a nice long recording session today. Get plenty of episodes done, so without further ado, let's get into it. And I haven't started my timer again, idiot me. I haven't even got my phone on silent. God, I'm so unprepared today. Just a moment. I shall... Okay, there we go. I'll just have to add like 2 minutes onto that. I swear I've been talking for at least 2 minutes of bullshittery. It's my word for the day, bullshittery. Look it up, it's real. Awanako's regret. Okay. It's a nice pen, I want that pen. I can immediately tell from the envelope that it's not about official matters of any sort. Someone actually wrote me an old-fashioned handwritten paper letter. Who bothers doing something like that in this day and age anyway? Yet, as unlikely as the prospect of receiving one sounds, there is definitely a letter lying on my desk. You sure it's not just the envelope? You haven't actually opened it up yet, so it may just be the envelope. The classes for the day are over. Still feeling pretty full from the big lunch that I had unexpectedly eaten at the cafeteria. I returned to my dorm, planning on finishing my homework and probably skipping dinner, or at least just eating light. I feel like I need to eat less than I used to. Maybe I don't use that much energy now that I don't do much beyond reading. Lazy shit. What can I say? I don't do much beyond recording Katawa Shoujo and sitting at my computer for the whole day. Well, especially on long weekends like this weekend. However, the letter on my desk, crudely scribble that out and put envelope, thank you very much, has naturally caught my interest. It's the first piece of mail I've received here at Yamaku. That's a bit sad. So it'd feel special even if it wasn't something as rare as a handwritten letter. So you haven't even got any notes or letters or anything from your parents. It's kinda sad. What causes me even more trepidation is the name of the sender, written neatly on the back of the envelope. Death. Or Awanako. I have no idea why she would write to me. I haven't been in contact with anyone from my old school since I transferred, and Awanako is the last person I'd expect to want to write me a letter. The last time I saw Awanako was terribly awkward, embarrassingly so. She came to my hospital room, peeled me an apple out of courtesy. Who peels apples these days, honestly? And then we practically sat in silence for half an hour. You sound like a baby needing your apples peeled. Who peels apples? Honestly. Bananas, yeah, I can accept that. Nobody eats banana skins, I mean, come on. But apples, really? The skin's not that bad on an apple that it needs peeling. And how do you'd be wasting so much of the apple? You can't precisely peel an apple without taking at least maybe 2 or 3 mils of the apple off. So really, all of that apple that you're just throwing away could be going to some kids in Africa that are desperately needing it, dying for it. I don't know what I'm talking about. But if you call now to 0900 244 522 6784, you can donate $700,000 to these kids in Africa. It'll save their lives. I'll put the link in the description. Just kidding, there's no link. She said goodbye and didn't look me in the eye when she closed the door. Goodbye. It might have been a natural end to the series of visits that were probably pretty painful for both of us. Just having a drink that vitalizes the body and mind. AKA Red Bull advertisement. Send me to space, like the other guy. Every time she visited me in the hospital, I wanted to talk to her, but something stopped me every time. Every time that I didn't speak made the next time even harder. Awanako always had this aura of fragility around her, as if she'd shattered into pieces at the slightest disturbance. Initially, I think it might have been that delicacy that attracted me to her. Oh, we all know that feel, bro. All us Hana bros, the Hana bros, Hana bros, yeah, we know that feel, the fragility and whatnot. But after what happened back then, it felt as if she had really shattered. She looked so sad that I didn't want to say anything that might upset her, and I never could figure out the right words to say. If I told her that it wasn't her fault, she nodded, and I really think she understood that if it hadn't been that, then sooner or later, something else would have made my heart give out. I seriously need to open my window, because I'm dying of sweating here. Oh, that's much better. Okay. Yet, she looked so hopelessly sad every time she opened that door and entered my room. That would make you feel so depressed and sad and lonely, like you're in hospital, you've been in hospital for a year or so now. Every time someone walks into your room, they just instantly go bleak and dull and depressed, and it's like, oh god, that's how I'm making people feel? So I never managed to say the things I wanted to say. In the end, that might have hurt her even more. Carefully, I open the envelope and draw out the folded letter from within. Dear Hisao, how are you? I hope you are well and happy at your new school. Everyone here misses you. Except me. Ouch. Almost all of our second year class got put together in class 3-1 for the final year, so we are pretty comfortable right from the beginning of the year. I'm sure you would have been assigned to this class as well. The mood among the third years seems to be very anxious about the final exams, even though they are so far away. The teachers are badgering us about it all the time. Even old Mr. Tachibana. Ah yes, old Mr. Tachibana. Could never get away with his little scoundrels. Who is, by the way, our homeroom teacher this year. Would you believe it? I was sure that he'd retire after our second year, but here he is, nagging everyone about studying for exams. I think things like that are the main reason why the mood amongst the third years is so nervous. I must admit that I'm somehow losing confidence in myself as well, even though I've always fared reasonably well in exams. It's so weird to think that we were already seniors, isn't it? Time has really flown past. I wonder where it went. The new first year seems so young and somehow really innocent. I keep wondering if I was like them in my first year. I've been feeling nostalgic like this for the whole first trimester. I can tell you, in my age, or in my year, when I was these guys' ages, like, I don't know, like 14, 15, 16, however old he was back then. But 14, 15, 16, back in my year, in my school, we were all still, quote-unquote, normal kids, like what those kind of ages are supposed to be into, aka Pokemon and normal cartoons and shit like that. But nowadays, 14, 15, 16 year olds, fucking all they want is goddamn sex. Horny little bloody bastards, aren't you? I swear the genes got fucked up in the line somewhere. There are other things I want to say. I'm writing to you because I felt that there are things I should have said after the incident back in winter. I really regret that I wasn't able to say them in person, and I have no excuse for it. The truth is, the times when I visited you at the hospital made me worried about you. I am not talking about your health. You seemed to become more distant and disheartened. It was natural after something like that happened, I'm sure, but somehow I got the feeling that you had given up on something back then. Happiness, maybe? She's right, you know. I wanted to somehow express my feelings, but the right words didn't come to me. I couldn't say anything to comfort you, and I am really sorry for not being able to support you when it mattered the most, even though I liked you so much. At least now, finally, I can be more honest. If I could go back to those quiet days in February and March, I'd tell you to not give up on yourself. That's what I would say. Maybe you wouldn't have drifted so far away if I had just said something. Don't blame it on yourself, Awanako, it's all my fault. I hope you've managed to get back on your feet on your own. Now that the distance between us is also physical, it also feels more final somehow. I wonder if we will meet again. Perhaps it's for the best if we don't. Still, if you would like to correspond with me, by all means write me back. I'd very much like to hear about your new school and how you are doing. I wish you all the best. Sincerely, Awanako. We should make her really jealous and say, oh, hey Awanako, I've been, 5 girls deep this whole year, and yeah, I'm really pretty much a lady killer these days, so if you want a piece of this, just come to Yamaku Academy, and I'll see if I can slip you in sometime, I can definitely assure you that I'll be able to slip in to you. Hey? Okay. Dirty. After finishing reading the letter, I fold it like it was and place it on my desk. I don't know what to think of this. I feel empty and confused. Why now, after all this time? Just yesterday I decided that I can't let myself stay like this. That I'd try to get on top of my own life. Reading this letter just reminds me of what could have been. Of course, I wish that I didn't have to be here. I'd want to be in the same class with Awanako again. Maybe we would talk every day now and go on dates. Don't get ahead of yourself, she didn't like you that much. My life didn't go like that. I didn't really need to be reminded of this. Awanako needed to write this letter for her own sake, and I'm glad for her that she could, but it would have been better if I hadn't read it. Of course, she is right. I thought of the same thing yesterday. I had fallen into a pit of depression, and now I have to try to climb out. I rip out a page from my notebook. After a moment of thinking how to frame my words, write a short reply to Awanako. I find it difficult to be really honest to her, but at least I try to appear somewhat convincing. I don't write her about Yamaku at all. I doubt she will write me again, but I don't feel at all sad about it. I fold my own letter to her, and as I have no envelope, set it next to Awanako's. I'll mail it to her later. Then I lie back on my bed, looking at the monotone grey ceiling. A bird sings outside of my window. It didn't sound like a bird at all. That was just a panda sings outside my window, or whistles outside my window, and a sudden gust of wind flutters my curtains. The summer afternoon feels still, and as if time had stopped for a brief moment. I think about all the things I've lost and will never regain again. Katawa Shoujo. Thus the languid days of mid-June pass by. Don't think I pronounce languid right. I mail my letter to Awanako and receive no reply. Bro, you got rejected. Having decided to ditch the old me, I start observing my fellow students even closer than I did before. Oh, you're talking about Rin, aren't you? Hoping to understand how other people cope with their own issues. I start seeing things I didn't before, and it makes me wonder if I've been wrong twice. Superficially, everyone is abnormal, yet so strikingly normal that it shocked me at first. I admire the way my new schoolmates turned my prejudices around just like that, simply by being themselves. Now that I've gotten used to it, I began noticing other kids of tones and the people surrounding me every day. There is this soft, numb sadness all around me. I can see the effort everyone has to make just to get through the day and how it weighs on their shoulders, like it weighs on mine. Even the brightest smile is just slightly subdued, every outburst of annoyance just slightly dampened. It's subtle, but it's definitely there. I try to think what it means, what I can learn from others. I wonder if deep down everyone is as lost as I am. Is there even one person in here who has truly found peace? I start to feel doubtful about myself once again. I can't decide whether these people are happy, unhappy, or if they've just learned to cope and now live in an unfeeling limbo like I did all spring. I escaped from these feelings into the towering piles of books I carry to my room from Yuko's sanctuary. After realizing that this will just shut me down even more, I start going to the art club's room more often, usually whenever I can. Doodle. You're gonna doodle? Rin too seems to spend more time in there than in her own classroom. I've often seen her totter towards the door at the very end of our corridor. That wooden door and the room behind it, smelling of paint and paper, seem to mean more to her than to the rest of the world combined. I'm gonna burp. Sorry. Completely necessary. Better out than in. She says she has special permission to use the room, which I don't doubt at all. I don't think Namaya would deny Rin anything. He seems to dote her like an uncle upon a favourite niece. Jesus Christ. The object of his affection, however, has no favourites. She says she appreciates the teacher a lot for going the extra mile for her sake, but even when she says that, her expression is the same as always. It's as if she was talking about a particularly unremarkable rock that she saw the other day. I can't really figure out their relationship. Rin doesn't seem to let anyone close. I don't think even Emmy could say she's crossed that gap that seems to separate Rin from the rest of the world. I don't understand it. She seems so indifferent, yet so passionate at the same time. Jesus. Somewhere the school bells ring the last call of the day. Oh yay, we're actually going to talk to someone now. Instead of talking to ourselves. I realise I've been zoning out for who knows how long. Dazed, I sit up straighter, trying to look as inconspicuous as possible. The pungent smell of the fart that was brewing in my bowels for the last hour has finally come out and is starting to seep through my pants. As classmates come into the room, they notice the smell and stay clear away from me. It's already this late and a few club members left early, so it's just me, Rin, the teacher, and the two other girls who are almost about to leave. You have some very weird paintings, don't you, Rin? Rin is sitting to my right, slowly working on a painting while I'm idling the time away. I don't think she realises I've been watching her this whole time. With a nimble move of her delicate ankle, she dips the brush into crimson paint and presses it lightly onto the canvas. A stain spreads around as if the brush was bleeding. Her progress has slowed down to a crawl. By now I've learned that this is dangerous for her technique, as the paint must not be allowed to dry before she's finished. It occurs to me that I'm literally watching paint dry, and yet somehow I'm not feeling bored, despite spacing out just now. I wonder if that same sort of thing occurs when watching grass grow. You know, maybe you've got a gardener that cuts the grass with only their feet. I wonder if the same reasoning applies to that you won't get bored if you have an affectionate passion towards this person who is a gardener that only cuts the grass with their feet, that you wouldn't get bored by that as well. I don't know what I'm talking about. Most of the time, the art club is very relaxed and freeform, apart from times when Namaya gets really excited about some technique or style he wants to teach us about. Everyone is free to pursue their own interests. Lacking one, I keep floating around without a direction. I try this and that, but nothing really leaves me with a deeper impression, not to mention that I don't seem to have a special knack for anything. Story of my life. Well, I did get praised for my attempt at watercolours, and I felt pretty good about that, myself, but that's it. I thought it was shit. Just my opinion. And the fact is, my opinion counts, and no one else's does, so yeah, Hisao, you shit. I suppose it's to be expected. I joined the art club mostly on a whim, after all. I'm thinking that maybe I should quit the club, if it's going to be this pointless. But there's nothing really wrong with pointlessness, and I can't exactly say I'm unhappy. Can't quit, you're with Rin. Unsatisfied maybe, but I've only got myself to blame for that. Exactly. As the pair of girls exit the club room with a cheerful "Bye bye," Namaya stands up from his desk. His chair scoots back with a loud screech that breaks the harmony of this quiet afternoon. He taps the pile of papers in his hands twice against the tabletop in order to straighten them, then stretches his back. Newsreaders do that all the time. I swear they've got nothing on those pieces of paper in front of them. And it's just sort of a visual thing. I have a faculty meeting to attend, so I can't stay here. I'll have to do some paperwork later, so if you want to stay we can talk then. Sorry about this. There are two people here, but he's really talking to only one of us. Namaya spends extra hours of his time mentoring Rin after official club hours are over, and I'll bet he'd like to discuss his plan of getting Rin's art into a gallery a little more. It's alright, I think I'll probably be here, but it's not a big deal if I'm not. I don't really have much going now. Okay. Rin answers without moving her eyes from her work in progress. The tone of her voice is neither the polite kind expected when talking to a teacher, nor her usual monotone. Right. So I won't need to send a search party if you aren't here? Yeah, no thanks. I don't like to party. We can talk later. Good girl. Smiling, the teacher picks up the rest of his papers and makes his way to the door. I glance at the clock above it and then my watch to double check. They are 3 minutes apart, but nevertheless the club's meeting time is over now. Well, are you gonna get Rin to, come with you? Hey, Rin, it's getting quite late. It's getting pretty dark and cold out there. The girls' dormitory is, locked. Surprisingly. Don't ask me why. What? There's padlock in my hand? Oh, no, it's nothing. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. But yeah, why don't you, come over to my room and, we'll watch a movie. We'll see where things take us. Rin seems intent on staying here to work on her piece, while waiting for the teacher. I can't quite imagine what their one-on-one time would be like. Would they actually discuss anything? Rin is always so subdued in what she says, and when she does say something, it's difficult to understand what she's talking about.